of our rights.
There was good news for native hunters. The court decided that federal hunting laws infringe on Aboriginal rights. But in all 5 fishing cases, the Indians lost. That's been an explosive issue along the Fraser River. In a 3-2 decision, the court ruled that natives don't have the right to sell the salmon they catch. Jubilant non-native fishermen say Ottawa should rethink a policy that now lets them do so.
Through that strategy, the federal government has created a right where the courts say no right exists.
Most of these cases will likely be appealed to the Supreme Court of Canada, and that could take several more years. But the stage has also been set for natives to sit down with the federal and provincial government to try to negotiate a political settlement of their rights as they wait for a legal one. Roger Smith, CTV News, Vancouver.
A BC child custody battle has taken another heart-wrenching turn. On Wednesday, the adoptive parents of an 18-month-old boy had to give him up, pending a ruling on whether his birth mother should get him back. Now they've got him again, at least temporarily.
David, come on, my little man. Come on.
James Thoreau of Victoria joyously welcomed back the child he and his wife had tearfully given up. An appeal court justice has decided that the child will be least upset if he stays with the Thoreaus until their appeal in the case is heard. It's expected to be heard within 2 weeks. The Thoreaus had adopted the boy when he was 2 months old. There'll be no change in the amount of money interest groups can spend to support their favorites at election time. An Alberta judge today struck down a law that would have limited election spending by independent groups not connected to any political party. The judge ruled that the restrictions violate the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Mark Sickstrom has that story.
This is a wonderful day for freedom in Canada.
The spending restrictions were challenged by the National Citizens Coalition, a right-wing lobby group that has advertised in previous elections.
Ed Broadbent believes unions should use forced dues for politicking. Most Canadians think he's wrong.
Last April, Parliament amended the Electoral Act to limit election spending by third parties to $1,000. But an Alberta judge has ruled that restriction an unjustifiable infringement of freedom of expression as guaranteed by the Charter. The NCC is jubilant.
This law that was struck down today has no place in a free and democratic society. What it attempted to do was to threaten to imprison citizens for up to 5 years for the peaceful expression of their political views.
The ruling could have a major impact on the next federal election campaign, for in effect there will be no spending limits on interest groups, individuals, or political parties.
Let's say you're a third party. You can spend what you like. I'm a candidate and I'm limited. It's ludicrous. If you have no limit, then I have no limit. The Mulroney deal will...
There have been no restrictions on third-party advertising in the past, either during elections or referendums. Some politicians say that leaves the democratic process open to manipulation by wealthy individuals or well-heeled interest groups. It's a charge the National Citizens Coalition rejects.
The statement that money buys elections is a myth. He called it a myth. What matters are ideas. It doesn't matter how much money you spend peddling a bum idea. It's a bum idea.
The federal government says it wants to study the judge's ruling before deciding on an appeal. Mark Sickstrom, CTV News, Calgary.
The Liberals and Conservatives are jockeying for position on the controversial raise in expense money for senators. Liberal leader Jean Chrétien has asked for a recall of the Senate to vote on rescinding the raise. And Prime Minister Campbell said today that would be fine if the Liberals could demonstrate that their senators wouldn't just vote in favor again. The government's leader in the Senate, Lowell Murray, was asked if the Commons could cut the Senate's funds.
The House of Commons could reduce the Senate budget by a certain amount, but the Senate can reduce the House of Commons budget by a certain amount. You're into mutually assured destruction if we get into that. It's foolishness.
I have always been a great believer in triple E Senate. Eliminate, eliminate, eliminate.
Some senators on both sides of the issue have indicated they have changed their minds and would either vote against the raise or abstain. It was about a year and a half ago that a Canadian Forces Hercules crashed in the Arctic night near CFB Alert. 5 people died, 13 survived a day and a half through a blizzard until they were rescued. The rescue team, the survivors, and the families of those who perished traveled yesterday to the crash site for a memorial service. A guard of honor paid tribute as wreaths were laid beside a stone cairn that stands at the place the Hercules came down, and 5 simple crosses represented those who had died. Coming up, prom night segregation. Why are some black students sitting out their graduation dance?
Your local Honda dealer presents the 4.8 financing event. When you order up selected models of the Accord, Civic, or Prelude, you get 4.8 financing for 48 months. And there's a tip. Not all good things last. The 4.8 financing event is here and now.
Every month, we speak to over 35,000 children across Canada. Lonely kids who need someone to talk to, but feel there's nowhere to turn. No one who'll really take the time to listen. Invest the time. Talk to your children. But even more important, let them know you're listening, that you respect what they have to say. Communicating is one of the most important things that we as parents can do for our children, and it can make an enormous difference in their lives.
Coming up on the ATV Late News, a rare Saturday sitting of the court to sentence Darren Muse in the McDonald shootings. We found a possible PCB dumping ground and the sports plays of the week. All that in just a few minutes.
I have a blind date tonight, and you know what they say about first impressions. Do I reveal my nutritious, ready-for-commitment side with 100% whole wheat, or do I let loose the fun-loving Mr. Mini-Wheat with my great-tasting light frosting? I really want her to like me.
Then show her both sides, Mr. Mini-Wheat.
You think so?
Yes, show her everything a Mini-Wheat from Kellogg's has got, and she'll be back for more.
She'll never leave my side.
Well, now, Mr. Mini-Wheat.
She'll be my true love forever. Oh.
Let's not get carried away.
At TD Bank, we have 475 customers named John Smith. They're all different, so we have different services to fit everyone. Because at TD, no matter what your name is, you're never just another John Smith. TD, your bank, your way.
Prom night. The very words bring out nostalgic images of young men in tuxedos and young women in formal dresses, ending the school year at a traditional dance. But tradition has given way to controversy and charges of racial misunderstanding in Mississauga, west of Toronto. Tomorrow night, some black students will hold their own prom, a prom that they say reflects their own traditions and culture. Joy Melvin reports.
Party, 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 party!
They arrived in limos, bow ties, and elegant evening wear. It's a tradition, the high school prom.
Hey, Andrew, get back in the picture there, Andrew!
But some black students have snubbed their official school formal and are organizing dances on their own.
Black and proud, black and proud. Oh, yeah.
Noel Walrond is organizing an all-black prom that celebrates black culture and music.
I prefer a black crowd simply because it's blacks coming together to celebrate their achievement together as a family. And I mean, we're surrounded by European influences all the time. For once, we just like to have something that's just for us.
Teresa Reed is organizing a mostly black prom.
The one at the school does not cater to us. It caters to the mainstream of society.
But these private parties have disturbed some school staff and students because it looks like segregation.
I think it's dumb.
Why?
Because we work so hard to integrate our school.
We still don't realize, but there's a lot of racism in our schools still, and that's not apparent. And I guess this black formal has been coming across, but I mean, that just shows everybody that there is still racism out there, and we have to do something about it.
We went to the same classes together, and I figure we should, you know, go to the same formal, and I don't see why there has to be any separation.
Some educators say separate proms are the symptom of a larger problem.
So often, students walk into a classroom and they see nothing of themselves reflected in what they are supposed to learn.
All of of this has become a huge embarrassment to the local school board. The issue of race is so controversial, even the principal refuses to talk about it. And by not talking about it, some critics argue the school board is failing to deal with it. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Brampton.
There was a more explosive demonstration of racial tension in South Africa today as black and white leaders negotiated a transition to majority rule in Johannesburg. White extremists moved in on the meeting, and they brought their weapons and swastikas with them. The protesters drove an armored vehicle straight through the glass of the conference hall. Then chaos as they pushed their way into the meeting room while guards stood by and watched. The extremists are demanding their own separate white homeland and say they'll never accept a black majority government. In western France, at least 18 people were killed early this morning when fire swept through a psychiatric clinic. Most of the dead were patients who either locked in their rooms or asleep under heavy sedation. The building did not have a sprinkler system. Police say there is growing speculation that the fire was deliberately set. When we return, LA Makeover on the Friday File.
To create perfect freshness is the art of nature. To preserve perfect freshness is the art of Ziploc freezer bags. Ziploc announces a better way to capture freshness. Our Gripper Zipper's special teeth lock together, sealing in freshness, first time, every time. The Gripper Zipper, now on all Ziploc bags.
Oh, a little bungalow someplace. You know, your own backyard.
Not renting. Right?
A bank that understands how hard it is to save for a down payment.
Now we can save for a house while using a credit card.
It's nice to know we're getting something out of it.
I see a barbecue in the backyard.
I see a swing set.
You're not,
Celebrate Life brand with a great sale at Shoppers Drug Mart.
Celebrate life. Celebrate life.
Get sensational savings on Life brand 2-ply bathroom tissue. 8 rolls now just $1.59.
Get the most out of life.
During the sale of your life.
On now at Shoppers Drug Mart.
Everything you want in a drugstore.
Use pressure-treated lumber and still have expensive water damage. Why?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal. It penetrates to protect wood, brick, and concrete from water damage. Thompson's the first name in lasting protection.
Time magazine calls Jurassic Park amazing. Dinosaurs live.
Excellent.
A movie milestone, says the New York Times.
How'd you do this?
You won't believe your eyes. Jurassic Park. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
Well, we've skidded down the slippery slope of another week, and at bottom, once again, we find Friday File. Time to escape from the week, from the world, from reality itself. We begin our getaway on bicycle. This is a bike, much like any other gold and platinum bike you've ever seen. But the ostrich skin seat and inlaid jewels do tend to set it apart. A meeting of jewel merchants is hoping to peddle it for more than $1 million at auction. The armed guards you would need to keep it for more than about 15 seconds are not included. No escape from reality would be complete without a visit to La La Land. And here we are, sort of. This is a Los Angeles street with the gritty reality removed. Ask anywhere else in the world what Los Angeles is like, and you get this.
Highly polluted. Racisme à la violence. Crime.
Los Angeles responded to such perceptions by building City Walk, an artificial street with no homeless, no graffiti, no crime, and lots of security.
Fortune telling in the Magic Potions Bar. Very typical California.
So there you have it. Your city's broke and you can't fix it? Just build a pretend one. We give the last word tonight to David Letterman as he escapes from one American TV network to another. Letterman reflects on fortune, fame, and his father's views on showbiz.
Well, that ain't funny. What the hell? Anybody can do that. It's not the way he dropped his pants. Who cares? I can drop my pants. They don't give me $1 million.
That's the Canada's bit on this June 25th, tomorrow on Canada AM Weekend. Tips on getting the family pet through the long, hot summer, healthy and happy. And on CTV News tomorrow night. Survival of the fittest in the new Russia. How one factory is turning economic hardship into profits. Sandy Ronaldo will be here on the weekend. I'm Lloyd Robertson for all of us here at CTV News. Good night. Have a very good weekend.
CTV News, Canada's most watched newscast.
Big events. See them on CTV Sports.